Welcome back to episode 4. We are talking about university. We are the Focus Houseless podcast. We're a business, NFT, content creation, and everything business related podcast. We created this podcast to share our journey in entrepreneurship, business, and creating a Web 3.0 brand. My name's Liam. This is
Josh.
Today we're talking about whether you should go to university and university in business. I think the podcast is not necessarily just going to answer the question about whether you should go to university. We're going to give some opinions on we've both been to university, on the experience relating it to business.
I think we should clear up to start off with, if you're not thinking about setting up your own business and you're going into medicine or veterinary or becoming a doctor, just don't even bother listening to us, because you need to go to university for those things.
Yeah, if you've got something really vocational. But at the same time, if you're thinking about setting up your own business, the first thing I'm going to say is setting up a business doesn't mean you don't go to university. You can still go to university, and we're going to talk about that today, and run a business and do something that's not related to your business. Our last episode was about side hustles, and you can very much run a side hustle while at university. I went to university to a very vocational degree called... I went to university and did a vocational degree which was sports coaching, and then I ran a business in sports coaching. While at university, I ran my sports coaching business. I got a hell of a lot of support from the university. What was your university?
So I did business management with marketing, and I now run a marketing agency. So as much as people like to slate people who do business management, it did massively help me through what I do now.
Yeah, I don't. So I now run a videography and content production business. So I don't directly do sports coaching anymore. But I don't think that was a waste. I'm now not. That's one thing I don't want to say. It's just if you went to university and you did something and then you don't end up doing it, I don't think it's a waste of time. So on that, let's start with actually what are the benefits of going to university? What does university give you? We're going to give you each our opinions on what we think the benefits are. I'll let you start.
Yes,
you like to talk.
So for me, the number one benefit is you get out of your town, you get out of your comfort zone, and you're away, you're with people you've never met before in a new surrounding, which massively enhances your ability to just sort of remake yourself.
Yeah, and be adaptable.
Yeah.
It teaches you to be able to deal with things, and that's a really important skill to have in business.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who don't leave their town or their village, they miss out on a lot of opportunities that come around. And
there's always people who are in the local area who don't expand their horizons, and you can see it when they run a business.
And it gives you a better understanding of what you want to do in your future. Like, you may finish uni and still not have an idea, but you'll have an idea of stuff you don't want to do, or you'll meet people that you go, oh, they're going to do this, that interests me.
Yeah, you do things.
Yeah. So that's for me, that's one of the biggest benefits of going to uni.
I think similar to me is that going to university just creates opportunities. It's not like a step up in life, but it expands your ability to get access to opportunities. While I was at uni, I went to the Entrepreneurship Society and effectively got about 40 grand worth of support over the 3 years I was at university on building a business and learning business. I effectively did part of what your degree was doing for free, and I wouldn't have been able to get that opportunity while I was there. And also I met a load of people that would let me video them, and if I hadn't gone to university, I wouldn't have started videoing people. The government wouldn't have given me a load of money to buy a camera with, and I wouldn't have been a videographer.
Yeah, that's it. If you're at uni and you are actively looking to start a business, there's so many competitions that uni's put on, so many different segues you can go down, different funding you can get from the government and from the uni, which you wouldn't have the access to if you didn't go to uni. And also you get a lot of help. Like, there's people, so at Swansea Uni where I went, it was called the Enterprise Team, where they would help people who wanted to get into business from start to finish, in all areas that you needed help. So if you hadn't ever done a side hustle, you hadn't ever gone into business, or both my parents are self-employed, so I've always been in that sort of field of doing it yourself and being self-employed and everything. But a lot of people obviously won't have that luxury, so by going to university you get all the help that you could possibly need, and you don't miss steps or make errors that you would do if you were just starting out yourself.
And it's a great opportunity to start a side hustle. With support, and I think that's a key benefit of going to uni. You can get that support through networking groups, and a big part of what we're going to advocate is you can learn everything you need through YouTube these days. But it's easy watching a YouTube video on how to do something, but when you get stuck, you can't go and talk to the network. And in Web 3.0, the way we're going forward, university I think will be less prevalent because people will have communities based online.
Yeah, especially for degrees like business management.
You had to be careful then. With
I was going to say
with
geography,
non-existent degrees like Josh did. But degrees that you don't need to physically be there. You don't need to physically be doing. But that's my big benefit of uni is it's you meet people, you get out there, you meet people, you do new things,
and you also get a degree at the end of it.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing.
It means you have something to fall back on it.
Yeah, at least you get. Yeah, at the end of the day, you do get skills that employers want.
Yeah,
employers want, and that's the other thing. It's quite useful just to skill up again, and I think the more you can skill up, the more you can network is really important.
Yeah,
there are some negatives at university. One of them being you spend 3 years of your life getting a skill and spending a lot of money on something. In the UK, it costs about probably 40 grand.
It's going up now,
if not more, maybe.
Year.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money to possibly not do something that you're never going to do. I spent 27 grand on sports coaching, and I did and still do run a sports coaching side hustle and business. I ran it for 5 years before COVID. Did I need to go to university to become a sports coach? No. Not at all. I did not, and that was, the degree in itself was not. I did not need to go to university to walk onto a sporting field and do what I wanted to do. So it is an expensive way to get into what you're doing.
Yeah, and there's courses out there as well. I'm not saying the course off TikTok from some guy you've just seen who's charging you $2,000
unless it's my TikTok.
Yeah, for a few weeks worth of stuff to look through, but Google do some really good courses, like you said, YouTube as well. There's so many free sources out there from very respectable companies that will help you in all aspects, from social media advertising to branding to operations if you're going into more of a restaurant type business or a pub. There's so much help out there where you don't need university, and it's like apprenticeships. You can do so many great things through apprenticeships.
I was going to say that, one of the big disadvantages of university is you these days is you just don't. You can learn on the job so well. I know there's things like being a doctor you can't learn on the job. You can't drop someone's heart. You obviously need to go to university to learn that. I don't know if it's obvious, but there are a lot of, especially in the world of business and the world in crypto. And all of that stuff, and that's a nice segue into a big disadvantage. I think you were about to say it. Universities are, as soon as you learn something at university, is outdated. With the state and the speed of technology advancing, I've seen university courses on crypto, and there will be a university on Web 3.0 course, but at the end of the day, it's not what's happening there and then. You're not learning straight away, and as soon as you say write that essay on cryptocurrencies, it's outdated. The stuff you've learned is always. And I remember at university that my lecturer, one of the first things he said, was as soon as I say what I think, it's wrong. So that's a disadvantage, is you spend a lot of time learning something that could be irrelevant.
Yeah, and a lot of your lecturers, for me, because obviously I did business management, never owned any businesses or anything themselves. They're just professors.
See, I think that just depends on the university, because my university only employed people who did what they did.
See, I had a few that did for the odd module each year, and I always found they were so much better because they focused more on coursework than the exam. But even then, they didn't care what grade they gave you, and if you went to speak to them about your grade or how can I improve it, they just go, well, I don't care. You turn up to my lectures, turn up to everything we've got going on, listen to my guest speakers, and you'll learn more from that than what mark I give you. When you're doing a degree, not the most helpful information you can have, because you do want that 2-1 or first at the end of it, but they are the professors you want to look out for, the teachers.
I think that's a good point to segue into our actual opinions on university. We've each got one. University and business. I'll ask. That's the question. Is if I want to run my own business, should I go to university? And what's your answer to that question?
No.
No. See,
No.
I'd say yes, but explain why.
So I would say no, solely for the reason, like you were saying, you get 40, 50 grand worth of debt. You can get funding and stuff through the Princess Trust, and they do schemes just like you can get from university, but it's a lot longer process. There's courses online you can do. So if you know you want to start a business, you're not sure what it is, then you still got from 18 to 21 those 3 years where everyone else is at university, where you can start something from scratch.
You may have just been out of focus for the last 10 minutes.
We'll see at the end. But you can do everything you want to at university through setting up your business yourself that you don't need the university for, I would say. I'd say there's so much stuff out there.
I'm going to say go to uni if you want to run your own business and do something that's different and interesting. If you can afford it and if you want to do it. I'm going to say if you want to go to university and you think university suits you, but you want to run your own business, don't not go to university because you want to run your own business. Because I think, like I've said, there's so many opportunities at university to learn and to skill up and learn those business skills out with support, that going to university doesn't necessarily mean you won't run your own business. And I think a lot of people think, if I go to uni, I can never run my own business, and I don't think that's true.
No, definitely not. I wasn't sure before going to uni. I wanted to take a gap year. But my A-levels said otherwise, so Swansea said, if you want to come, you've got to come now. So I did, and I loved every minute of uni. I had COVID halfway through second year and most of third year, which obviously put a downer on the university experience, but I loved every minute of it. So yeah, if you are unsure, I would suggest taking a year out to try figure out what you want to do. But university, you got something to fall back on.
Yeah, and
that's always great. Having other options available to you is always going to help you out in the long run.
Also, just YOLO. I love that phrase. You only live once, so you could use that. I think it's a good place to finish. Shorter one today. Think about it. Decide.
Yeah. No one will know the right answer apart from you.
We can't tell you. Hopefully that helps you. If you've got any other questions about our experiences at university, there's an email down below you can send an email to. Social medias, we're just the Focus Hustlers podcast. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, depending on where you see this. If you guys don't know, we are a video podcast as well, so all of our podcasts end up on YouTube, and they do upload to Spotify with video. We're on Amazon Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, I think.
Not as far as I'm aware.
Unless
you put it up.
I've put it up. It's meant to. I'm pretty sure I've put it up. I haven't had a email saying that we are, but I did what Apple said, but you know what they're like. So I hope you guys have enjoyed.
See you later.
Bye.